I am Jisha Akara, Assistant Professor of Civil Engineering Department, Jyoti Engineering College. In this video, I will discuss some basic concepts of regional network planning. How can we represent a transportation network? That will be discussed in this video. As all we know, the goal of the transportation is safe and efficient movement of people and goods. To achieve this goal, the four components are essential. The first one is modes. Modes are the conveyances. For example, cars, buses, or trains, or aeroplanes, or ships. The modes may be which transports people or which transport goods. The second component is infrastructures. These are the physical supports of the modes. That may be roads or that may be terminals. Route means rail tracks or canals or highways, etc. Then terminal means the airports, seaports, etc. So these roads, rails, seaports, airports, these all are infrastructures. The third component is network. Network means is a link between all these. The link between airport and seaport. The link between some urban centers and some rural areas. Or the link between two countries. Or a link between two villages in the extreme conditions. Then the fourth component is flows. Flows means maybe the movement of people or the freight movement or the flows of information between 2 points. So in this module we will be discussing what is the need of planning of a regional network. If a high quality network is available, it facilitates the movement of people, which allows the social interaction between them. Or the road network connects the urban centers, or it connects the rural area with an area which has more employment opportunities. Or a network helps to develop helps in the socio-economic development of the country or economical development of the country. So if we invest more on the road network, it develop the economy of the country via it reduces the travel time between the 2 points, or it reduces the travel cost between these 2 points. But we know our resources are limited, so we have to effectively utilize these resources, because for the construction, operation and maintenance of these roads, we have to exploit our nature. So for effective exploitation of our nature or effective utilization of the our resources, the road network should be optimum. If we consider to if we are going to construct a new road between two places, we have to think of the alternative options, which is optimum for the within that alternative options we have to choose an optimum solution or an optimum network which is to be constructed. But we know in the real scenario the road network is very staggered. So we have to represent the road network in a systematic way. So to represent the road network in a systematic way, there is an universally adopted method or adopted approach. It is to represent the network by a set of links and a set of nodes. Node means the node may be a town or a village or even a building, and the link means the path between the two nodes. That is, A node is the place where the trips are attracted or the trips are generated. That means an origin or a destination. So the origin and destination points are represented by a node, and the path between these two nodes is represented by a link. So if a road network is available, or if we have a systematic node network plan, we can predict what will be the demand or what will be the mobility in between these two places. So we let's look at the first figure. In the first figure, the first diagram is the real world road system. There are some nodes, there are some links between these two nodes. In the first figure itself, the real world road system is represented by a network plan. The circle represents the nodes and the straight line represents the links. So in the second figure, it shows there are 8 vertex and 10 edges. Vertex or node, edges or link. So we have 8 vertex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertex and 10 edges or links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the nodes or vertex represents the origin or destination points, and the edges or links represents the path between these two nodes. A network is a conceptual structure which includes two elements, mainly nodes and links. So this figure represents a network representation which includes 5 nodes and 10 links. We have 5 nodes and 10 links in this network representation. So but in this figure, each link is associated with a direction of the flow also. So look the link 1. The link 1 shows the direction from 2 to 1. That means the direction of the traffic is from node 2 to node 1. See the link 5. In the link 5, the direction of the traffic is from 3 to 2. But in the case of link 6, the direction is reverse from 2 to 3. So in the network we can represent the direction of the traffic also. Next we will discuss about our transportation network. In the road network, we know the nodes represents the two places, origin or destination. Well, let's say Thrissur and Ernakulam. Thrissur and Ernakulam are the nodes. Then we have a link between these Thrissur and Ernakulam. Then what the link represents? It may be the travel distance between these two places, or the travel course from Thrissur to Ernakulam, or travel time between these places. So the link representation can have these representations. Then the direction of the link is also important. If it shows an if the link shows represent with an arrow, it represents the direction of the traffic is permitted in this direction only. If it is a two-directed link, it represents the two-way traffic is possible. This figure shows how can we represent a transit network. So in the first figure we have some nodes and links. These nodes represents the bus stops or transit stations, and the directed link represents the line haul movement or the line haul between these two nodes. The link may be travel cost or travel time or the travel distance between the two nodes. Suppose we have to travel between Trivandrum railway station to Shornur railway stations. In between we have Kollam, Alappuzha, Ernakulam, Thrissur railway stations. So each station represents will be represented by nodes, and the distance between these stations will be represented by the links. The second figure shows a transit line which is connected to origin and destination. So we can see an origin node which is connected to the transit line. There will be a loading link which is represented by dashed line from origin node to transit line. Then at the end of the transit line, or at the end of our travel, there is a destination node which is connected to transit line. Again, that link is represented by a dashed line. That link is known as unloading link. Suppose to reach Trivandrum railway station, you have to catch an auto, or you have to depend upon another mode. So there will be some waiting time, or some cost will be associated with that link. That link is loading link. That means from your origin to the railway station, you have some you have to depend upon some another mode. That is loading link from origin to then Trivandrum railway station. Then from when you reach at a Shornur railway station, again you have to depend upon another mode, or you have to wait, or you have to spend extra cost to reach Jyoti College. So that again there is an waiting time or cost is associated with that link. That is unloading link. Unloading link to between the final station and the destination node. When we represent each link, the unit of each link should be the same. If we represent each link by the travel distance, the next link also should be in travel distance. If you represent the link by travel cost, all the links should be in the travel cost. That means the unit should be same for all links in a network. So now we studied the nodes, the links, the loading link and unloading link. Here we will study a new term, a transfer link. A transfer link is which connects the stops between two transit lines. So in this figure we have 5 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have 2 transit line. From 3 to 1 we have 1 transit line, and from 2 to 4 we have another transit line. The links 3 to 1 and 2 to 4 are the continuation of the same trips on the same line. So we don't have any other waiting cost or transfer cost or extra mode cost on these lines, because from 3 to 1 the link is on the same transit line. No need to transfer from that line to another line to go to stop 1. Similarly, in that to travel from 2 to 4, the 2 to 4 link is on the same transit line. There is no need to catch another mode, or no need to transfer from to another line to reach the stop 4. So the 3 to 1 and the 2 to 4 are the continuation of the same trip. So there is no any extra cost, or that link is associated with the 0 impedance. Then consider a 3 to 4 or 2 to 1 link. The 2 is on one transit line, and the node 1 is on another transit line. Similarly, the node 3 is on one transit line, and the node 4 is on another transit line. So to go from 3 to 4, we have to transfer from this transit line to another transit line. Similarly, to go from node 2 to node 1, we have to transfer from this transit line to another transit line. So there is another transfer link which connects the nodes 3 and 4 to transfer between this transit line to another transit line. Similarly, there is a transfer link between 2 and 1 to transfer from this transit line to another transit line. So there will be some impedance associated with the transfer links. That may be wait-in time, or that may be a transfer charges. Here we have another node 5 also, other than the transit nodes 1, 2, 3 and 4. The node 5 will be located in the vicinity of the transfer links or the transit stations. So there will be some loading and unloading link which is connected from node 5 to the transit lines. So the node 5 will be the point of origin and destinations. So that some trips will be attracted to node 5, or some trips will be generated from the node 5. So the node 5 is both the origin and the destination node, which is connected to the transit lines. Thank you for listening me.